score in an event is calculated by averaging the scores awarded by the two judges at the event. The team's final event score on each event is determined by taking the 5 highest individual scores from the first 6 competitors and adding them together. The 6 lowest scores drop. At the conclusion of the competition, the team scores on each event are added all together for the final team score.
Good evening and welcome to an exciting evening of college gymnastics here on ESPN3. My name's Christina Chauvenet and I'm going to be with you here all night as we watch this dual meet between two East Atlantic Gymnastics League teams, the University of North Carolina and the University of New Hampshire. In case you're new to college gymnastics, the East Atlantic Gymnastics League, or EAGLE as it's known, is a conference comprised of the 3 ACC teams that have women's gymnastics. That's NC State, Pittsburgh, and UNC, along with Towson, George Washington, and of course New Hampshire. We're just inside the 4-minute touch warm-up period here. And just to give you a little bit of background of where these teams are coming into this meet, remember in college gymnastics, wins and losses do not factor into rankings. It's all about the scores. So UNC comes into this meet ranked 5th in the EAGLE and 41st nationally with a 194.467 average. And New Hampshire is coming into this meet ranked 2nd in the EAGL and 28th nationally with a 194.878 average. So New Hampshire is the favorite for the meet tonight, but the UNC team is really, really talented, and they still haven't hit their stride 4 for 4 this season. If you listen to the episode of Gymcastic, not this week, but the week prior, you may have heard the preview of the bubble teams for NCAA regionals, and Spencer, one of the co-hosts of the Gymcastic broadcast, said of the teams that didn't make nationals, regionals last year, that UNC is his favorite to make it this year. I have to agree with him because I agree, as he said on the podcast, all the routines are there. What UNC hasn't done so far this season is hit all 4 events to their full capability in one meet. So one of the things that's going to be really interesting about tonight is to see if they can do that. They're coming off their lowest score of the season. Last week at NC State only got a 193.7, and the focal point for them is going to be the uneven bars. They've been struggling there all season, scored in the 47s at NC State on last Friday night. So that's going to be an area they want to improve on. I actually think that home meets are better for them scoring-wise. It's where they've gotten their best scores this season because they're able to start on one of their strongest events, and that is vault. For New Hampshire is coming off a little bit of a different momentum, so they got their season high last week. They, at a quad meet in California, got a 196, their first 196 of the year, and that is a really critical score. 196 is averaging 9.8 per counting routine and is a really valuable score to have for their RQS. So these two teams face kind of different challenges this meet. You know, New Hampshire has to prove that 196 wasn't a fluke. They had a couple of lower scores earlier in the season. They've been gaining momentum since then, but they really want to keep that momentum going from their past success this weekend. And it looks like we're about to get started here with Drew Aldridge from UNC. She's a freshman. And really nice Yurchenko full to start there. Does have that hop back. I would like to see her hone that landing in a little bit more, but she gets great dynamics. When we're looking at these vaults, it is about the landing, but it's also about the dynamics in the air. You want to see these athletes keep their body laid out throughout the vault, assuming they're doing a laid out vault, which most of them are. You also want to see them get good height and distance, and she did both of those things. And now moving over to uneven bars. For New Hampshire, we've got Danielle Doolin. And caught a little bit close on that release move. You're going to want to see the gymnast catch with their arms extended on the release moves, ideally. Just a little bit of leg separation on that transition to the low bar. And I'm just pointing out these deductions just to show where the judges might be taking something. Does that full pirouette right into that double back small step. Couple form errors here and there, but overall solid start. And the score for Drew Aldridge is in. It's a 9.7. As we're taking a look here at Alexis Allen, I talked about last week they didn't have a great meet at NC State. Alexis actually had her best meet of the season, got her a season high on both of the events that she competes, vault and beam. She competes a Yurchenko half, which starts out of a 9.95. Most of the vaults that we see tonight are going to be starting out of a 9.95. And I'll try and highlight the ones that are starting at a different value. But one of the challenges with her vault is that it's a blind landing, so it can be really difficult to control that landing. She did a great job last week. Got her season high of 9.8 last week at NC State. And by the way, these are new Leos for Carolina, so Leo alert, I really like this Leo. As we get set here for her vault. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, that's definitely the best vault I've seen Alexis do this season, and that's possibly the best vault I've seen her do in her career. She's really been honing that vault and had a little bit of trouble earlier in the season, but she's really hitting her stride, and she has such great form in the air. What I like about her vault is not just the landing, but she's also really increased the distance on that vault as well. As you see her getting a hug there from Maurice Case-Denick, the primary vault coach, associate head coach. And moving over to New Hampshire on bars. And again, just a little bit of a close catch there. You see she kind of has to muscle up that swing. I really like this transition, though. Most of the gymnasts we see are doing the bail, and she does that straddle back, which used to be, was popular when I was doing club. Gearing up for her dismount here. Really fights to hold that stick, can't quite do it. But again, another solid routine, just some areas to clean up as they move towards postseason. And Alexis got a 9.775. And I have to say, I think that's a little bit low compared to the score that she got last week, which was a 9.8. I think that was probably in that range. So probably it looks like it was a 9.75, 9.8 split. And this is Madison Hargrave. This is one of our seniors. And nice Yurchenko full there. This is UNC's senior meet, so they are honoring all the seniors here tonight. So that's Madison Hargrave, as you saw there. Also Megan Ruzicka, who we'll see later, and also Jamie DeChico. And this is Riley Freeling up next for New Hampshire. Danielle Doolin had a 9.6, and then Ava Watkins 9.65 afterwards. I think just got dinged for some of those form issues I talked about. Really nice handstand there. That's what we're looking for on that popular Jaeger release. And she's keeping very nice form throughout this. We do want to see a little bit shy on that handstand. Again, every time a gymnast is short of handstand, the judges should be taking a deduction. Just the step on that landing, really the only major area of deduction there. And Madison Hargrave, 9.8 on vault. So good way to kick off her senior night. I had a chance to talk to Madison before the meet about her senior night, and she has just had such a wonderful experience here at UNC. Talked about how close this team had gotten, and also talked about how much she was looking forward to tonight. Michaela Robinson here. Oh, and doesn't quite get the stick. She is really improved that vault. She's a junior, has really improved that vault over the last couple years. Believe it or not, last season, started out the season competing a tucked full, and a lot of credit goes to Marie Case-Denick, the associate head coach, who has really been working with these athletes on improving their block. The block is the push that you get off the vaulting table that allows you to get the momentum you need to complete the vault. And she's been doing a lot of uphill drills with them, trying to increase the amplitude on those vaults, and it's really showing. And this is Haley Louis for New Hampshire. I love to watch her on this event. She's got great lines, just a little bit of leg separation there on that Maloney. Oh, and gosh, you know, she was going so aggressive for that handstand and just had to go over. That will be a deduction, even though she covered it up well. And this is the problem. And, oh, really nice front giant there. I was just going to say the problem with going for these handstands so aggressively is that sometimes you can over push it and then just ends up having to do that additional swing, which will incur a deduction. Riley Freeling before her got a 9.725. And now we're looking at Kaja Hislop, the junior. And Kaja Hislop is such a powerful athlete. Look at this Yurchenko full. Oh, and doesn't quite get that stick. I was just going to say, you know, I think she's had a couple of vaults that she has stuck cold that have gone 9.9 this season, and I think you could make a really good argument for those going 9.95. She has the smallest of hops there, probably be a half a tenth, but she's such a dynamic vaulter. She really shows the shape that you want in the air, and she shows the flaring of the vault out at the end of the vault, which you really rarely see in collegiate gymnastics. And up next is Lauren Diggin. Looks like they're just having a little bit of a judges conference. Hasn't gotten the go-ahead yet. Lauren's a sophomore. Really cool combination here, that hop full into the Ginger. Again, just really rarely see that in college gymnastics. Love the risk she takes. And here's a little trivia question for you. The hop full that she did there is an eponymous skill. It's named after a famous contemporary gymnast. So if you can name that gymnast, who is the hop full named after? You can't cheat. You can't go look it up on the balance beam situation. But if you know the answer, tweet me. It's at @CChauvenet, and I'll look at that during the break and see if anybody knows who that's named after. And looks like Carolina is not putting up a sixth vaulter. I talked to Marie Kay-Zdenek about that before the meet, and she said, you know, they have 5 really strong vaulters who are all vaulting 9.95 start values. They are working a couple of other athletes up into it, but they do have a 6th athlete that can go, Megan Ruzicka, but she only vaults a layout at the moment, and so Marie Kay-Zdenek kind of told me, you know, if we hit those first 5, we don't need a 6th vault, and we can rest her for the events that we need her on later. Megan Ruzicka, I say she's a senior, she's actually a graduate student, but is part of that senior class, and she is one of their strongest competitors on bars, so we'll be seeing her there shortly. Kaja Hislop got a 9.875, so again, just that slide on the landing, that's really the only thing to deduct there in that score. So just as a reminder, in collegiate gymnastics, 6 up, 5 count. So the teams are able to drop 1 score although Carolina will not be able to do that because they did not put up a 6th competitor. And now we're looking at Danielle Mulligan, and she is one of my favorite bar workers. Look at this eagle grip giant, so difficult because of how you invert your hands. Requires a lot of shoulder flexibility there. And she just has such lovely lines on this event. Just the step on the dismount. She's such a beautiful athlete to watch, and I have to, congratulations is due because she was recently named as one of the semifinalists for the AAI award, which is the award for the top senior gymnast in the country. Well deserved. And I got a chance to talk to Coach Gail Godspeed there, as you see her getting a hug from her, and she was just so proud of the work that Danielle's done. She came in really doing only bars, has added one event kind of every year that she's been at New Hampshire, and now is competing the all-around for them, doing a great job. And we've got one exhibition here for New Hampshire. And just as a reminder, the exhibition scores don't count towards the overall team score. It's just an opportunity for those athletes to get out there, get their routines judged. They do receive scores, but it's not eligible to be counted towards the team total. And this is Claire Hamford. Oh gosh, I was just gonna say the form in the air was really nice. She had really great extension, but just took it too far out. Really not a chance for her to catch that. And I know there's some people in NCAA gymnastics don't feel like we should have exhibition routines because they don't contribute to the score. I am a big fan of exhibition routines. First of all, I think it's great to see more gymnastics. Always a fan of more gymnastics. And I think it's really a good experience even when the athletes don't quite do what they're capable of. Still, just to get that routine out there, get those jitters out of the way, because you never know what might happen later in the season, and those athletes in the exhibition spots may have to step up to a lineup spot. And here we're getting a look at the final scores for the rotation. So pretty tight coming in here. I think that UNC is going to be pretty happy with how they've done on vault. This has been the most consistent rotation for them so far this season. And you're just seeing Drew Aldridge's score there twice because they didn't put up a sixth athlete. But all that, I think just the one thing is none of the gymnast, Alexis Allen, was the only one that really was able to hone that stick, and so they want to really work towards picking up those half tens because this is a very strong event for them. But that being said, still really strong showing. New Hampshire didn't have any major problems in their routines, but just giving away a little bit too many half tens. So a lot of those small mistakes that I pointed out, like separations, little bit short of handstand, those are half tens, and then those half tens add up. It's not quite probably where they want it to be. You want to be at that 49 mark if you're pacing at 196, which is pretty much what they did last weekend when they got their 196. But still, it's not a bad start for them. But they will be looking to pick up some momentum as they go to their next. They know that I tend to get emotional on senior night, so I will apologize in advance. Because I really have, like I said, have so much respect for these athletes. Looking at some of the highlights here from the first rotation, Drew Aldridge, really nice dynamics, maybe just a little bit of a pike down on that Yurchenko full, but look at the distance she gets. Really impressed. Here's Madison Hargrave, one of those seniors. And pike down, didn't quite get as good of a block as I've seen her get, but still solid vault. And here's Michaela Robinson, doing that Yurchenko full as well. I have seen her have more control on that landing, so hopefully she can hone that as they move into the next part of their season. Here's Alexis Allen, 9.775. I don't think that was the right score for that. As we look at New Hampshire and Emma Weiner there. Solid start for New Hampshire. Just had, again, we're really getting to the point in the season where honing these landings in is going to be really important because, for example, for New Hampshire, this is a road meet for them. This is a potential meet that could count as one of their road scores. So really nice to see them getting those good dynamics, but would like to see some better control on landings in the rest of the rotation. And now this is Drew Aldridge, freshman for UNC. Nice first handstand there into her Maloney. And she's working through this routine really nicely. Just has this double back, really nice routine. I think that's the best routine I've seen her do this year. Good start for Carolina on bars. And that is a critical routine because, as I mentioned, bars is their weakest event. They don't have the scoring potential they have on the other events on bars, but really it's just a case of having the athletes hit their routines, and she did that job. And Emma Weiner for New Hampshire, 9.75 to lead off the rotation. And Courtney Bedanza here. Nice Yurchenko full. That step back, that's probably going to be in the realm of a 10th deduction. Really, when you see just a little bounce in place or a very small slide, that's going to be a half a 10th. You're going to, when you see the bigger lunges, that's probably going to move into a 10th of a point deduction. Didn't quite get as much distance as we would like. One of the things I wish that NCAA had but doesn't is distance line. So the judging of distance is a little bit subjective. As we're looking at Michaela Williams here. And at UNC's last home meet, she got her career high of 9.8. She's been one of those gymnasts who has been really consistent for UNC, but just hasn't quite been able to break into the 9.8 range. Usually struggles with a couple of handstands, so we'll see how she can do here tonight. I think that this momentum piece is really critical for UNC because they have had to count falls, and they have had falls in that leadoff spot. So they move their lineup around a little bit, and I think that that is going to be a really important thing for them. Of course, I'm able to comment on this a little bit more because I am the home commentator for UNC Gymnastics, so haven't been watching all of the New Hampshire meets this year like I have with UNC. And looks like it's a 9.675 for Drew Aldridge there to start. Again, they don't have the scoring abilities on uneven bars as they do on particularly vault and floor, but that's a solid score that what they really want to do is be able to score solidly into the 48s on this event. Nice. Looked like she was pretty far from the bar, struggled to get up to that handstand. But she's recovering nicely. I think part of it is also working through this adversity. Again, just pretty shy on that handstand. Nice double layout. Just a couple places in there, though, that she didn't quite have up to handstand, and particularly the last one is going to be more into the one. If you're just shy on a handstand, it's going to be probably a half a 10th. Some of her handstands were more in the 1/10 range of deductions. And looking at Erin Carroll here for New Hampshire.
Erin Carroll.
And check this vault out. Oh gosh, too bad. Didn't get the block she needed off the horse. That is a very difficult vault. It comes from a different vault family than what we've seen so far, doing that front handspring pike half. But yeah, just really didn't get the block that she needed off the table. And, I think another thing that is an issue for some of these teams, as I mentioned, New Hampshire coming off that really big 196. So sometimes I think that can be a challenge as well, because it's added pressure for the teams to build on that momentum, and it is the middle of the season. These are student athletes. It is also like flu season, midterm season, all of those other things. Looking at Megan Ruzicka here. And she's that graduate student. Beautiful ginger there. Just a little bit of leg separation on her transition to the low bar. but she's working through this routine well. She just has her double layout dismount left. Really nice, and that's one of the best routines I've seen her do. Really good to see her get off to a strong start for her senior night. And Michaela Williams there in that 2 spot got a 9.7. So far 3 solid routines. Looking at Danielle Mulligan here, this is the most recent vault that she's added to her as an all-arounder. This was the final event. This is her first year competing vault for New Hampshire. Does this layout full. Wow. Sticks that landing. She is, I love her. I love that she's continued to add and build throughout her time at New Hampshire. Talking to the coaching staff, they said she just came in this summer and said, I want to add vault. And that's the kind of ambition that makes her such a great gymnast. She had a little bit of a pike down on her entry, but really strong vault for New Hampshire. And Megan Ruzicka getting a 9.725. And now we've got Emery Summy here. Really nice to see her catch that release move. She has struggled with that in earlier meets. Little bit shy on that final handstand. Oh, and she almost had the stick, couldn't quite hold on to it, but this is the kind of performance that UNC has really needed on uneven bars. And really great to see, particularly her hit that routine, because she has struggled with it throughout the season. Danielle Mulligan, 9.9 on vault, really well deserved. Again, just that I'm assuming the half tenth came from the teeny tiniest of pike downs. And just a step forward there on that vault for Nicole O'Leary. Again, I really like the variety that New Hampshire brings. They have 2 of the handspring front vaults. And apart from the step, really strong dynamics. But those lunges, the deduction is proportionate to the size of the lunge or the hop that you take. Theoretically, the lunges will receive a smaller deduction than hops for the same size hop, because it shows more control. But they have the good dynamics in those vaults. As we look at Grace Donahue here. And I love to watch Grace on this event because of her toe point. Look how beautiful. And that is one of the prettiest release moves in NCAA gymnastics, does that straddled Jaeger. And her bail to handstand, she was a little bit shy, but she has improved that. That's an area of her routine that she has struggled with. She's gearing up here, also has one of those double layout dismounts. Just a little bit of form in the air, bent her legs a little bit, but another hit routine for Carolina. And Nicole O'Leary getting a 9.75. She is capable of sticking that vault. That vault is valued out of a 9.9, so doesn't quite have the scoring potential as some of the other vaults in the lineup, but she can. I think she's certainly capable of sticking that vault. As we look at Lauren Diggin. Nice Yurchenko full. Again, just didn't quite, had to pike down a little bit, take that step back. So probably not quite as crisp of landings as I've seen from some of these New Hampshire gymnasts in the past. But they were able to recover from the fall that they had from Erin Carroll. So again, they can drop her score as a 9.375. They will be able to drop that. And up next, Riley Dewhurst for UNC. She's a beautiful bar worker. Has this Maloney. And that Maloney is named after Kristen Maloney, Olympic medalist and UCLA national champion. Little bit shy on that final handstand. She's getting ready for her double layout. Really nice, that tiny step, but she has such great form, has a super extended body angle. A lot of gymnasts you see can't quite hold that double layout body position, but she really can, and just the smallest of adjustments on landing. And Grace Donahue, 9.775 before her. And in exhibition, Danielle Doolin here. And another strong Yurchenko full, at some of the same dynamic problems that we talked about earlier with a little bit of a pike down towards the end. But, I'm really impressed with this New Hampshire team. Yeah, they have had a couple of form breaks, but it's really impressive. They were out in California last weekend. This is their third meet in 10 days. So, frankly, I'm not surprised that they have had some of those, short handstands, not quite as crisp landings, because it's hard to compete in such rapid succession. But if they can get another score in the 195s, that will be great for them, because it will set them up for, it will allow them to count that in their regional qualifying score. And looking at the scores for rotation 2, again, UNC really getting off to a strong start. I said they didn't have quite the scoring capabilities there for bars as they do on the other events, falling a little bit shy of their season high on bars, which is a 48.875. But again, really strong, considering that they had to count a couple of falls and mistakes last week, scored in the 47s. This is a score they can work with. They are going to 2 potentially very high-scoring events for them. And New Hampshire, again, I think that they can be really pleased with their performance. Didn't quite see some of the stuck landings that I've seen from their athletes in the past. Danielle Mulligan, what a highlight there in the 4th spot, showing why she is an AAI semifinalist. And we're going to take a break here on ESPN3. Again, please get involved in the conversation. Tweet me at @CChauvenet, and I'll be back with you here in a couple minutes here on ESPN3. And welcome back to College Gymnastics here on ESPN3. I'm Christina Chauvenet, and we have had a really great meet so far, really tight between these two Eagle teams. University of North Carolina, 97.675. New Hampshire, 97.650. That is a quarter of a tenth, folks, separating these two teams. It's really anybody's meet so far, and I've been really impressed with how both teams have performed. Danielle Mulligan, a senior for New Hampshire, getting her career high on vault with a 9.9 full twisting Yurchenko, and also UNC having some really good vault scores. Riley Dewhurst in the anchor spot closed with her season high of 9.825, and Grace Donahue also tied her season high with a 9.775. Carolina's got that event out of the way. That's their toughest event. So it's, now they are going to Beam. That is a place where they've had some struggles in prior meets, but they're coming off last week at NC State after having a tough rotation on bars and surprisingly on floor as well. They came back and hit Beam great. They got a 49.225. So going to be really, we're going to see if they can continue that momentum from uneven bars and hitting those routines. For New Hampshire, I'm so excited to see the New Hampshire floor routines. They are really dynamic as we get started here with Grace Donahue. And talked about Grace's toe point on uneven bars, and something she showcases here as well. Getting ready for her back handspring layout, step out series here. Really nice. She was off. You saw her do that correction, but I think it shows me that she is in the right mindset because she was able to make that correction relatively seamlessly, connected those dance elements nicely as well. That is a requirement in NCAA gymnastics, have to do an acrobatic series and a dance series, as is that full turn. Well, it has to be at least a full turn. And we'll see Danielle Mulligan later do a double turn, which is very rare in NCAA gymnastics. Oh gosh. And just under-rotated that aerial. Really too bad to see because she is a beautiful beam worker. Just her dismount left. She does a piked gainer. Nice finish. Rough start. That's going to be really tricky, though. It does put pressure on those following athletes to hit their routines. And Nicole O'Leary here up next, or up first, I should say, for New Hampshire. And she has a lot of difficulty off the top. A lot of these New Hampshire gymnasts doing E-passes, the most difficult classification of passes. She does this double front. Wow, nicely done. Maybe just a little bit of extra power on that last double back. On floor, the gymnasts are allowed to take a lunge out of their passes without it being deducted, but it does have to be a controlled lunge. So what we're really looking for is for the front foot to stay anchored and for the gymnast to take a controlled step back out of that, out of their tumbling pass, or a step forward if it is a front landing tumbling pass. As we look at Alexis Allen here for UNC. And Alexis Allen had that really nice vault for UNC. She did have her season high at NC State last week, got a 9.85. And, you know, this can be a little bit tricky. The other tricky thing for gymnasts, when they're coming after a fall, often after a fall, the judges take a little bit longer to get the score in. And so that can be tricky because you've got all this adrenaline, you're ready to go. I know that was when I was a gymnast, that was one of my least favorite things, was getting ready for the judges to give me the green light. But, you know, I've been really impressed with Alexis's beam work so far this season. Emma Simpson is the primary beam coach for UNC. She was a standout athlete at Penn State and also trained at WOGA, the same gym that Taylor Spears, UNC's former assistant coach, who's now at Arizona, also trained at WOGA, along with countless national team members and also Olympic champions Nastia Liuk and Carly Patterson. and just overturned that slightly. Gearing up for her series. We're going to see this same series a lot from gymnasts. Back handspring layout step out, really nice. She struggled with that in warm-up, so good to see her hit that here. Oh, wow. I'm really impressed that she was able to save that. Looks like her footing was just off. She couldn't get the full extension. She was going for a switch side leap. So that's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. And made that correction nicely there. I'm guessing it's going to be just an execution error off the switch side. But recovers nicely. You know, that was not the routine that she wanted, but it does tell me a lot about her resilience because she likely knew that that score was going to have to count and really was able to fight through that strong rest of her routine. And, you know, one of the things, just to give you a sense of where the rankings are, New Hampshire currently ranked 31st. Carolina, after last week, dropped down to 41st, so they are currently sitting on the outside of regional qualification. And Haley Louis here. That front double full. Another one of those E passes. And just a little bit of lack of control there on that jump out of her last pass. If you see a gymnast circling their arms or something like that during a jump, that does show lack of control, should be a small deduction, but really nice performance level from Haley Louis and really clean work throughout the routine. She was the Eagle Rookie of the Week this past week. Actually, her teammate, Danielle Mulligan, was the Gymnast of the Week, and Kaja Hislop, the Specialist of the Week. So we've got all three Eagle honorees in this meet tonight. And you see Lily Dean there. And Alexis Allen, 9.125. So was a large deduction there for her error on her switch side. Oh gosh, and you know, she really fought for that one. You know, it's too bad. I think she really had the landing and just doubted herself a little bit. It is a mandatory 3/10 deduction for grasping the beam. Oh gosh. And I was going to say there's a 3/10 deduction for grabbing the beam, and then there are additional deductions for other body movements that you make, so that'll be a pretty large deduction. And, you know, she has been struggling with that element, the aerial, manages to hold on to it. Nice extension through that switch side. Nice dismount. Tough to see UNC struggle after doing such a good job last week. And this is what I talked about. You know, they have been struggling. First couple meets they had in the year, they actually didn't have to count any falls, and they were doing, you know, they kind of had a slow but steady, tight pace. But they weren't getting some of those higher scores. The last couple meets, what's happened is they've had some meets, some rotations rather, that they've knocked it absolutely out of the park, and then other rotations where they've had to count a fall or two. And Emma Weiner here. Nice air awareness there on that full in. Very difficult pass. She almost went out, did not put her heel down and saved that. Nice landing there on that double back. Just a couple of control issues on her first two passes. Actually, her last pass was the most controlled. And, you know, I think I'm just seeing a little bit of fatigue from these New Hampshire gymnasts, but their performance level on floor is so great. And they're throwing so many difficult passes, have 5 gymnasts doing E-passes. That, again, that's the most difficult classification of skill in NCAA gymnastics. And here is Kaja Hislop. And Kaja has been so great for the Tar Heels on all 3 events that she competes. The aerial into the back handspring. I'd like to see her connect that a little bit faster, but she likely won't get a deduction for it. And throws that head back in that double stack. And this is the thing about Kaja. She was a little bit off on that landing, but she's able to finesse it. She's such a talented athlete. Look at this stretch. Look at the stretch on those split leaps. That's really state of the art. And she's ranked 33rd in the country on beam. Clean full turn there. She is the top ranked gymnast in the Eagle on all 3 events that she competes. And just her dismount here. Little crooked there, but again, like I said, she's just such a talented athlete. And fun fact, if you know the website, the Gymternet, Kaja was one of the, if not the first athletes that Lauren Hopkins, who runs the Gymternet, profiled while Kaja was a level 10 at Breschans. And I know she was training for the 2016 Olympics, hoped to represent Trinidad and Tobago. Didn't quite make that happen, but I know that Lauren from the Gymternet, like I am, is so excited to see her thriving collegiately. And here's Danielle Mulligan. And I love this routine because of her difficult dance elements. Right here, look at this. Triple turn into that double turn. She she's one of the athletes only doing 2 tumbling passes. Really clean there. Wow, and you can really tell she's an experienced athlete because she didn't quite get the block she needed on that final pass that Rudy thought she was going to be really under-rotated, but she managed to she will get a little bit of a deduction for having her chest low on landing, but managed to minimize that deduction. And Kaja Hislop got a 9.775. And Riley Dewhurst, I love that mount that she does. Really reminds me of Mackenzie Caquato, former U.S. national team member and Florida Gator. And right there, like that full turn, she just finishes it in releve, has really clean work on this event. Another one of those people doing the back handspring layout step out. And has just struggled a little bit with power on that. Was a little bit under-rotated, but managed to save that landing. Great extension there on those leaps. And the aerial, so that is going to be a little bit of an issue because she meant to connect that aerial to a beat jump and was not able to do that. So that's going to affect her start value. Look at that flexibility though. Love that show of flexibility. Just the dismount, manages to stick it. Nice recovery there. Again, these athletes in the later spots in the lineup, Carolina knows now they're going to have to count a fall and a serious mistake, but they still have to count the rest of the scores. So it's really important for those gymnasts in those to turn the tide around because there's still a lot of gymnastics left in this meet. Lauren Diggin here for New Hampshire. Wow, great landing there. And another nice routine for New Hampshire. They've had a couple of athletes that have had a few landing issues, but overall, especially considering that they've been going, they've done this their third meet in 10 days, really strong performance level. And, you know, these E-passes, they're just performing them so well. It says a lot about their endurance at this point in the season. And here we are with senior Jamie DeChico. Got her career high last week at NC State. A really nice series there, back handspring layout step out. And she is a gymnast who relies on her faith during competitions. Told me that helps keep her calm. And just struggled a little bit there, didn't reach the quite 180 degrees on that switch half. Really cool pike jump there. You don't see that a lot in NCAA gymnastics, and she's one of those athletes that can really pull it off. Just her dismount here, gainer pike. And what a way to cap off your senior night. That's the only event she competes for Carolina. It's been so nice to see her grow through her time at Carolina. Had an injury, knee injury coming in, didn't compete her freshman year and struggled with consistency, and she has really got it locked in this year. And, you know, she told me she's really enjoyed all the bond that she has with her teammates and coaches and the special dynamic that they have to really be themselves. And I think that says a lot about the team and also a lot about the coaching staff and the atmosphere they try and set. And Ava Watkins here, for all you Harry Potter nerds. And Lauren Diggin before her at a 9.825. Really like that layout step out. Oh gosh, and just too bad, goes out of bounds on that jump out of her last pass. So that will be a mandatory 1/10 deduction. Otherwise though, a good routine, really solid scores for New Hampshire, all in the 9.7 and 9.8 range. Jamie DeChico, 9.85 in that anchor spot. Again, I just can't say enough about the growth that she's had as an athlete while she's been at Carolina. And this is Rain Gordon. And she's competing exhibition. And one of the things we're going to look for Rain is for her to have a little bit of a cleaner connection right here. That aerial, this is where she has been struggling, is connecting those. If I were a judge, I would not give credit for that acrobatic series. That being said, to be honest, judges are a little bit reluctant to take that deduction, so more likely she wouldn't get the deduction for breaking the series. She would just get a execution deduction. So if she got a deduction for breaking the series, she would get a 2/10 deduction. But again, judges are really hesitant to take that deduction. Nice double stag jump there, same that Kaja Hislop did. And again, she's just got her dismount left, does that gainer pike. Really nice routine, just that aerial back tuck. that she does in the middle. I love that series because it is difficult, but she has had trouble connecting it. But good for her to get that routine out there. She is also a really good bar worker, is recovering from a preseason injury, so hopefully we'll see her in the lineup later in the season. And in exhibition here for New Hampshire, Alexandra Kuchitz. And Gail Godspeed and Derek Galvin, two of the longest standing NCAA gymnastics coaches. They are the third and fourth longest standing NCAA coaches. Gail Godspeed in her 40th season, if you can believe it, and Derek Galvin in his 38th. Talked to Gail Godspeed before the meet, and she just has so much respect for Derek Galvin, says they developed a friendship over the years, and they were actually both instrumental in starting the Eagle Conference. As we get set here. And a 9.6 there for Ava Watkins. I mean, even their exhibition has an E-level pass. Really impressive. Nice routine, just had some issues on that jump out of her second pass. But I'm really impressed with the score, with the routines from New Hampshire. Again, just such strong level of performance in the artistry of the routines. And one of the things I want to talk about with floor is, a lot of times you hear people talk about gymnasts showing off their personality on floor. That is not what floor is about. Floor is about showing off artistry. The performance that you are giving on floor could be very related to your personality, or it could have nothing to do with it. So it's really an opportunity for those athletes to showcase their artistry, their athleticism, and also just and show off some of the really difficult passes that we saw from New Hampshire. She's going to do that on all three of her events. She did last year. Last year, also, Michaela Robinson qualified on floor exercise. She's in a good position to do that this year as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her qualify on vault as well. Jamie DeChico, another athlete that could qualify. And the reason why I say, we can't really predict exactly based on the rankings is because, for example, UNC hasn't been able to drop any scores yet. So Jamie DeChico had a fall. That's currently counting in her average. When she moves into the RQS, that will change. Those regional qualifications being based off of the RQS as well. And we're getting started here. Really nice back handspring layout step out into that beat jump. Really rarely see people connect a jump out of their acro series. This is Riley Freeling. A nice front toss there. New Hampshire is such an artistic team, and they bring so much variety to their lineups. And again, really nice connection there into that back tuck. Really nice start-off routine for New Hampshire. They are really poised to get a strong road score. Another thing I should mention is in the NCAA postseason, there's a play-in for the bottom-ranked teams. So those teams that are ranked 29th to 36th are going to have to compete the day before in a play-in meet. New Hampshire's kind of in that danger zone right now, so they really want to get another good road score to try and guarantee themselves to get into that top 28. Jamie Antonori here for Carolina. Nice double pike to open there. Really good chest position on landing. Really nice whip half to front layout. She fell on that last week. And just that chest position on that double back. Again, her double pike landing was great. Exactly what we want to see in terms of that controlled step, but did struggle a little bit on that last pass. Hannah Baddock here for New Hampshire. Too bad. I was just going to say, they have such difficult elements on beam, that punch front. And this is, again, critical place because you never know what's coming after you in the lineup. So it's really important for her to gear up here. Really recovers nicely with that handspring layout step out. New Hampshire's had a bit of an up and down season. Have a season low of 48.125. But this really nice sheep jump there. This beam team got a 49.425 at home, broke their school record. So really high scoring potential for them. Just that step on the landing, not the routine she was looking for, but takes a lot of risk in that routine, really difficult elements. And beam is actually New Hampshire's highest ranked event. They're ranked 22nd in the country on that. Again, ranked 31st overall. Megan Ruzicka here. Told me she loves to compete in Carmichael Arena and really appreciates the support of the Carolina community. Really nice first pass there. Oh. Too bad. You know, I think she was probably just trying. She was almost too focused. One of the things that Associate Coach Marie-K Zdenek said is, you know, she's very methodical about her work. I think, you know, she was having a really great routine up until that point. Looked like she might have stung her ankles a little bit, but looking at her, she seems fine. And Emma Weiner here for New Hampshire. Nice handspring way out step out there. Oh. And, you know, just lost her footing there on that front toss. And this does mean that they will be counting one of the falls. Hannah Baddock in that second spot got a 9.2. Good recovery, that 1.5 twisting dismount. You don't see that out of the back handspring too often. So, again, I'm just a big fan whenever I see a variety in lineups. I really enjoy that. Too bad about the fall on her front toss. And we're looking at Lily Dean here. And, you know, Carolina had to count a fall last week on floor. Talked to Coach Marie-K Zdenek about that, and she said, you know, they are such a strong floor team. I really didn't want to overreact to it. So, you know, these things happen. It's just a fall, and I think that's a great mindset. Well, had something wrong with her music there, so... well... This is awkward, folks. This is awkward. So she's like, well, I guess I'll just hang out here until we figure this out. As I said, Marie-K Zdenek said, you know, she didn't want to overreact, kind of just told her athletes, it's okay to have a fall. These things happen from time to time. I think when you see patterns like UNC on the uneven bars, then, yeah, you need to address it. But Marie-K Zdenek kind of said, you know, this is a really strong floor team. I'm just, you know, they had Drew Aldrich competing, who hadn't competed before. Well, this is not her music. So, you know, Lily Dean is a really strong competitor on floor, though. So I don't have any doubt that she's going to recover. And this is the moment you've been waiting for, folks. This is Breast and Legs 101 right here. She's going to show it off. Well, and here we go, doing it without music. She's doing a Brenna Dowell here, folks. And this arena is on their feet for Lily Dean. This is an athlete right here dealing with adversity. A little bit of an awkward landing there on her combination pass. You know what? I think she should get a couple tenths bonus for doing this without music. Lily Dean, you are a hero. You guys, Lily Dean taking care of business without music. Are you kidding me? That is, I'm so sad that that had to happen to her, but she handled that so well. What an athlete. You know, her dad is the coach of the Boston Bruins, so she's got some athletic blood, but such a tough situation to be in. Hopefully they can get that music sorted out. And Courtney Bedanza here for New Hampshire. And see, there's another place. If I were a judge, I would not give that as credit. That being said, the judges probably will, as credit for being connected, that is to say. Front toss does connect that front toss into the beat jump, though. Moving through this routine. Doing the moonwalk there. Usually see that at the University of Georgia. You know, just that, you know, her series, again, a little bit tentative, but she held on to it. Good fight. And Lily Dean tying her season high, 9.85, well deserved. Jim Turnett, show her some love. That is a tough athletic situation, and she handled it so well. And now we're going to see Michaela Robinson here on floor for the Tar Heels. And Michaela, I talked about how the floor is a place for your artistry, not your personality. Michaela's a good example of that because she said this music, the music for her floor routine, it's a little bit outside of her comfort zone. She's a little bit more of a quiet person, so she said she feels like a different person when she steps out onto the floor, just because it's a little bit more out there than she is. So I think she's like, oh, this music better be right. Okay, well, we've got, you guys can't see this on camera, but we've got assistant coach Emma Simpson up there sorting out the floor music. And as I said, her music, she says it's a little bit more out there than she is, but this is a great routine. Again, one of those regional qualifiers for UNC last year. And check out the height she gets on this double pike. Wow. Look at the height on these leaps that she gets. Wow, that's the best landing I've seen her do on that double back. One of the best routines I have seen her do. Great job there. Another one of those athletes who's been so improved in her time here at Carolina. always had the power, but sometimes struggled to get some of those really clean, crisp landings, and is really doing that this year. So again, she's one of my picks to qualify for regionals should Carolina not qualify. And Danielle Mulligan having a great night so far. Got her career high on vault with that 9.9. Nice handspring layout, step out. Takes so much risk on that double turn. Most gymnasts are only doing a single turn. Nice front toss there as well. And she is just so consistent for New Hampshire. Hangs on to that stick. Really nice routine. Again, I feel like I'm saying the same thing, but I love variety, and especially on dance elements. You do not see that many people in NCAA gymnastics doing a double turn on beam, and she had that fantastic triple turn on floor. So I'm a big fan of Danielle Mulligan. And she's already got 2 9.9s tonight on Danielle Mulligan, that is on vault and bars. And here's Madison Hargrave, one of the seniors. She is the athlete with the E-pass, does this front double full. Nice. And had a large lunge out of that, but handled it, didn't go out of bounds. And Madison Hargrave, her final, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit emotional. I just love seeing these seniors, end their careers so strongly. Such a improved gymnast over her time here at UNC. Coach Marie Case-Denick said, she is just such a good example of a teammate, always there for her team, and just really bringing a good performance level. Haley Louis here on beam. And check this out. Aerial back handspring layout step out. Wow, you really don't see that in NCAA very often. Really difficult. You see the aerial back handspring or the back handspring layout step out, but not in succession like that. And that is an acrobatic series right there. She connected those. And they are going to lose Danielle Mulligan among other seniors next year, but she has a bright future for New Hampshire. Love the artistry that Haley brings to this event. Just has such great extension through all of her work. Just her dismount, 1.5. Has a pretty big hop on that landing, but that was really the only area of deduction for that routine. Again, I think she's definitely one to watch in the coming years. And Madison Hargrave, 9.825 in her final performance here at Carmichael Arena. You know, she said she really wanted to soak in everything for the remaining of the season and make every day count, and I think she really did that in her final floor performance. And Spencer from the balance beam situation and gymnastic called Kaja Hislop one of the very best 3-event gymnasts in NCAA gymnastics. I have to agree, and part of the reason why is this exquisite tumbling form. Look at this, front layout into that 1.5. This torsion half into the split full. Love it. Wow. As I said, would have to agree, that is one of the very best 3-event gymnasts in NCAA. She does not train bars because she had a pre-existing elbow injury coming into this meet, but she's just been so outstanding for Carolina. She's a favorite of mine to qualify to the national championships. Again, just a reminder, postseason format has changed a little bit, so it's easier for individuals basically to qualify to nationals. It used to be ridiculously hard. I think they've changed the system for the better. And looking at Danielle Doolin here in exhibition, just a little bit of hesitation there on that full turn, excuse me. She looked a little relieved there. She's a little bit under-rotated, but manages to save it. Nice routine, just a couple of areas of hesitation in there, but overall strong routine. Good to see these, they've got some depth there, which is really, can be really critical, especially if you get to a place where, you want to rest somebody or you have an injury. And Kaja Hislop, 9.95 in that anchor spot for Carolina. And that is tying her career high. I really think that we're going to see her get a 10 at some point in her career. Just absolutely lights out on that event. And looking at the scores here, Carolina recovering nicely with that 49.275. Really strong performances throughout. They were able to drop Megan Ruzicka's 9.0 in the middle there. Michaela Robinson's career high, 9.9. Just really great to see her continue to improve. And I got to say, Kaja Hislop was great. And, Michaela Robinson, Danielle Mulligan, all of them are great. I have to give the MVP of Floor award to Lily Dean. 9.85 when your music goes out in the middle of your routine. I would say that's pretty good. Such resilience from this team. So I'm going to step away for a couple minutes. I will be back to recap the final standings here on ESPN 3. And welcome back to Eagle Gymnastics here on ESPN3. I'm Christina Chauvenet recapping. You can see in the corner of your screen there the New Hampshire seniors being honored by UNC Gymnastics, which I think is that's a really great thing to do. And I know UNC Gymnastics does it every year, and I know a number of teams around the country do as well, but really nice to see. I talked at the top of the broadcast, Gail Godspeed and Derek Galvin have known each other for a long time, and just both have such respect for each other. And Gail told me before the meet, Derek goes out of his way to just be a wonderful host when we are here, going out of his way to make sure they have everything they need. And that's really nice. It's nice to see that mutual respect and admiration for each other. Just wanted to tie up some final scoring things. We do have the final scores coming in. So the University of New Hampshire got a 194.850. University of North Carolina 194.275. So neither of the teams really getting into that 195 range where they want to be. I think, Carolina showed a lot of resilience coming back, hitting floor. We saw Michaela Robinson get that career high of 9.9. Kaja Hislop tie her career high of 9.95. But, just had, again, what they're still struggling to do is put together four rotations where they're hitting, because they are capable of hitting every event. They've gone, again, bars, maybe they don't have quite the scoring capacity that they do on the other events, but they are capable of getting into that solid 195 range, and I honestly think they could break 196 if they hit all of their best events on the same day. But, that's what it's about for this Carolina team, is really being able to put it all together in a meet. University of New Hampshire, 194.85, did better than Carolina. That is a score they could count if they want to. With New Hampshire, they did struggle a little bit at the end of that, in their final rotation, but the other three events were really strong. And really pleased to see, Danielle Mulligan, 39.425 in the all-around. As I mentioned, Danielle Mulligan is new to the all-around this season, and that is her new career high in the all-around, 39.425. So congratulations to her. You see the UNC seniors being honored here at the meet.
While here at Carolina, and they have distinguished themselves academically, athletically.
And, all of these seniors have really shown a lot of growth throughout their time at Carolina. Megan Ruzicka, if you don't know her story, please, they wrote it up on the UNC website. She's really inspirational, is a graduate student, was at the University of Iowa, transferred to Northwestern, which doesn't have a gymnastics team, then came back to compete as a graduate student. So inspirational, and she has really appreciated her time at Carolina. And, she kind of said her goal for the team for the season is to have fun and to continue growing and learning from their experiences, and said, of course, they love to make it to regionals, but that it was really about having confidence in themselves and trust in the process. And I got to say, this Carolina team is, they are so happy, and they have such a good bond with the coaches. And yeah, they are struggling with consistency, but I am so happy for them to see how they're coming together as a team, and they're just really enjoying collegiate gymnastics, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Mackenzie Austin, also the student volunteer coach, she came in had to medically retire, and has stayed involved in the gymnastics team, going to dental school in the fall. That was another question I got from Twitter from Claire Bell, saying congratulations to all the seniors being honored tonight. Are any of them planned on being involved with the team after the season? Well, I don't think any of them have plans to so far. Jamie DeChico is taking a gap year in between. She's applying to medical school. She's so accomplished academically, and she got inducted to Phi Beta Kappa. She is a research intern at the Sports-Related Traumatic Brain Injury Research Center. She's going to continue on as a research coordinator there next year. Maddie Hargrave she's actually engaged. She's getting married in the fall, so congratulations to her. She's taking a gap year and then hopes to go to graduate school for speech pathology. And then Megan Ruzicka is as I mentioned, a graduate student, wants to go into healthcare consulting, doing a master's degree in statistics. So congratulations to all of these athletes tonight. Again, this has just been, it's really great to see the supportive environment that the coaches have created. And really, I think Derek Galvin and Gail Godspeed are both so respected in NCAA gymnastics. Great to see these two teams compete tonight. Still some work for both of the teams to do moving into the rest of the season. But I think there are certainly things that they can be proud of and that they can build on for that. So this is about going to do it for me. This is the last home meet for UNC for the season. So this is the last you'll hear of me this season. But please continue to follow NCAA Gymnastics, UNC, and New Hampshire back in action next week. For all of our staff here, my name is Christina Chauvenet. This has been Eagle Gymnastics here on ESPN3.